Hi guys. So we made it through week one. So how are you guys feeling? Has it been easy to follow, a little bit challenging, or very difficult? Please don't hesitate to let me know what your challenges are, what you feel like you've done quite well with as well. We always want to focus on what we feel is improving more than we hold on to that feeling of like, but this isn't getting better. This isn't getting better. You need to celebrate the small victories because health transformation does not happen overnight. And it depends on where you are currently in your own health transformation. One of the group members just went through Gut Thrive in 5. She's in a pretty good space right now, right? So when you go through something like that, you're going to recognize so much faster an imbalance or something that doesn't work well for you. Some of you may have a baseline of health of normal, which has been quite low for quite some time. And so your normal feeling is gas, bloat, brain fog, anxiety, insomnia, the list can go on and on. So your baseline's pretty unwell. So you want to focus on like that thing that just, this felt better this week. Maybe you experienced less brain fog. Did you eliminate, and I'm going to go over some of that guide. But did you eliminate the foods that we were focusing on eliminating? How did that affect your brain? Right? For me, my brain is where I notice things first and foremost. Everybody wants to focus on weight. Everybody wants to focus on their belly, right? That's going to take time to see transformation in your body. What you're going to experience sooner is, what does your brain feel like? Your focus and your mood. And so for me, when I add things in that are detrimental, such as primarily gluten right away, my brain feels like it just takes 5 steps back. I feel exhausted. I cannot focus. And my motivation and my inspiration, I almost become depressed. It's like something just goes straight down and it's not fun. And so that's like a huge sign that like gluten is horrible for my body. No matter how clean I made my gut, I was able to eat it without having this was a few years ago, soon after Gut Thrive in 5. It was probably like 6 months after finishing the program. My mom had her 80th birthday party. I refrained from eating this darn cake for the whole week. And then finally we had to like get stuff out of the refrigerator because we were leaving, and the cake was still there, and it was an expensive cake. So I had some and I enjoyed it. And I didn't experience that initial feeling right away. And I think because at that time, my body was in such a good place, right? It was so good. But if I were to have continued to eat it, I think I would have gone back because I have eaten gluten since. And I'm telling you, within 15 minutes, um, it feels horrible. So maybe it's the quality of gluten. So if that was a higher quality cake versus something cheap, I don't know. But regardless, the food, I want you to focus on, how is it making you feel, more than you're focusing on what you look like and your weight. Now, you may begin to experience face looking less puffy, right? Things feeling less puffy, but sometimes those things take a little bit longer. So that's why I want you to focus on what does your energy feel like, and more like, does your mind feel clear, right? Those are signs that it's working. It's working. Those are signs that you're feeling better. Now, on the flip side, if you have a lot to detox, you may first initially experience dim headache, a little bit of fatigue, a little bit of feeling off. That can happen for some people within week 1. And then week 2, they're starting to feel better. So just pay attention, right? But don't right away decide like, oh, it's not working. I have not lost any weight, or I'm not seeing it. Okay. Focus more on what you're feeling, but you have to be consistent. You have to. You're not going to get results in anything if you only put 50% in. And I said this to my gymnast for years. You get out of things what you put into it. If you give me I used to tell them, you give me 50%, I'm giving you 50%. Never worked out that way. But the reality was you're only going to get something out of something as much as you put into it. And I will reiterate this time and time again, group programs are harder to stay on track than one-on-one coaching. There's no denying it. They're absolutely a little bit harder. And in my opinion, they can be somewhat less effective unless you are very organized and very focused on your why. So get very clear every single day. Remind yourself of your why. Why did you feel driven to join this program when you saw it promoted? Because it doesn't, I mean, let's be real. A lot of people don't do these things like right away. It's not something that people love to do or see it as like, oh, this is fun. You know, it's very different. I'm trying to think of something that people may jump on board with. I really can't. But health coaching programs are really not. It takes people time to want to finally like do something like this. So I want you to remind yourself each and every day, what was my why going into this program? Why do I want to feel better? What is the reason behind this? And it usually needs to come down to an emotion. I'm so tired of feeling exhausted and actually unavailable to people. I mean, that's how I got. My why was I was so tired of not feeling normal. That was truly my why. I remember saying to people, I just want to feel normal. I had extreme exhaustion in my body. I was so full of brain fog and depleted. I could not even enjoy people. I had a coach, get through my coaching days, hours of the day, and then I just needed to I didn't even want to engage with people. So I was so isolated and unavailable. And I can get like this with people that are living with me, my husband. And I used to do this as a child, even. I can like tune people out to the point where it's just like it's my safety net, it's my survival mechanism. In terms of if I'm that tired, I'm that burned out, I can tune people out. I have to, because I only have enough energy just to survive. And that was my why. This is not how I should be living life. I was 36 when it was really bad. And then I got a little bit better. And then around 40, it got really bad again because I go back and forth with burnout. So ultimately, I wasn't going to overcome burnout until I healed my gut. And that was my why. Why did I go into Gut Thriving 5 personally? I knew that was an answer to overcoming so many of my other issues, right? And most of my issues are burnout, chronic stress. So my chronic stressor, number one, that I had to dive into is my gut. And so you have to get crystal clear on how do you want to feel each day. And I want you to, every day that you wake up and you write in that journal, and I would highly encourage you to have either print out what I sent you or have just a little notebook. And begin your day with, today I intend to feel this, okay? And so if your intention is to feel energized and focused, you're going to make decisions of what you eat, how you talk to yourself, what you read, how you move throughout your day based on, I want to feel focused and energetic. Sometimes I'll put in mind, like, I want to feel very focused and grounded. That means I'm right here and I'm not easily distracted. My brain isn't jumping from one thing to the next thing and this and that, which is very easy to do as an entrepreneur. And one of the group members will know this. And especially when you're a new building a business, your mind jumps all over the place. And sometimes I have to remind myself, today my intention is to remain centered and focused. Therefore, I need to eat foods that are going to ground me and focus me and keep me calm. Okay, because that's going to allow me to feel at my best, to serve at my best, right? And so at this time of the year, and I'm going to jump very quickly, when we're thinking about giving gifts, right? Gift giving and all this, I was thinking of this a lot today. We focus too much on the material things. And I honestly think in a world where people are feeling so exhausted, burned out, anxious, depressed, and all those things in between, including children, the best gift to give somebody is the idea that to take care of yourself is a lifelong gift, right? everything that we give in terms of, it's so sad. Like you don't even remember what people gave you from the year before 90% of the time. We give gifts out of obligation. We're supposed to do it. We're supposed to do this. Then we stress ourselves out because we can't find the perfect gift and stuff like that. And then a year later, it's like, oh gosh, I don't even remember what they gave me. That's pretty sad, right? However, if we slow down and we think about the gift of health, what are we going to do for our health to better serve people? People will remember how you make them feel. We probably all have heard this. If we're feeling down, exhausted, burned out, how are you probably going to make other people around you feel? Right? Are they going to want to be around you? No. You can feel people's energy left and right. I do. I feel people's energy. If you're very here, and nervous and stuff, I tend to avoid people because I feel it too much and it will eventually affect me. But think about that, people that you cannot avoid. So the best thing that we can do is to take care of ourselves, to learn self-care, to learn to slow down. There's never the perfect time. There's never the perfect time to change habits, to start eating healthier, to start practicing mindset changes. There's never a perfect time. We wait until everything crashes down on us and then we're like, oh, I can't handle it, right? And if you're in a stage, that point of life, I will tell you, taking care of yourself is even more important. Taking 30 minutes out during a time of the day is not only going to help you, but it's going to help all those around you. So that's basically, as we're moving into the next 2 weeks, focus on how you feel and your why. I've given you all these things that are going to help you, right? And I can talk to you about diet. I can talk to you about probiotics and this and that. But at the end of the day, the most important thing that you need to focus on is why and how you want to feel, because that's going to be what drives you to follow the plan or to stay away from the plan. If you don't take time out to figure those two things out, you're going to have the perfect plan of any kind in front of you, but you're probably not going to follow through with it. And then you're just going to be in the same spot as you were 4 weeks ago, right? So it's like, just get back to like, but this is how I want to feel. This is why I'm doing this. Therefore, I'm going to stick to it. Okay. Now, really quickly, because I can go to town with that. But I think that's what makes health coaching is the fact that like you can have the plan, but you need somebody to remind you of why you're doing what you're doing. So real brief, real quickly, mid-morning, how are you all doing with following the plan? Again, the plan is made for a reason. It's to keep you on track. The more we're organized and scheduled to where we don't have to think, this plan is to take you through something that makes you don't even have to think. It's just, okay, I'm going to do this at each hour of the day. So when we wake up, I'm going to do, the lemon water. I'm going to do my little bit of stretch. I'm going to do the dry brushing and 15 to 20 minutes of movement, right? Whatever that may be, walk your dog. How are we doing with eating breakfast? My most recent gut thriver, she will tell you guys probably personally, she told me when she started the program, I can't eat breakfast. I just don't want to eat it. And honestly, I think it was like week 1 of incorporating it, she was like, oh my gosh, I look forward to it. I'm actually hungry. And so eating breakfast is super, super important. Eating breakfast and lunch in order for weight management, blood sugar stabilization, yeah, and just not overdoing it at night with the wrong things. Supplying your brain when you're focusing the most during the day is crucial, but so many people don't eat. And then when they're having to be so focused, they're just not, their brain is depleted. So that breakfast, mid-morning, again, lunch, afternoon. So how's the plan going? And especially your morning routine and your evening routine. Don't underestimate gratitude journaling. It can change the way you perceive situations, especially if you're going through a very difficult situation where life seems hard and you're like, oh my gosh, how am I going to get out of this? It's just one thing after another. So many of us are experiencing this. I can tell you through my own up and downs the past 2 years, when I gratitude journal, and then even when I go back and I reread, and I've been doing that lately. I've been reading my last 6 months journals, entries each morning, rather than writing new ones. And when I do that, I'm reminded of like, oh my gosh, that actually happened. That actually came true. That actually occurred. And so it's been very beneficial for me to see that when I'm maybe feeling down and not where I feel I should be, right? Be careful of the should be's. So I cannot underestimate gratitude journaling. And then let me just go very quickly to foods and allowed. I would definitely stick with dairy. Well, now we're eliminating all the major allergens. So dairy, gluten, soy, corn, peanuts, alcohol, sugar. I would those are major allergens known to increase inflammation, right? And we're trying to decrease inflammation throughout, so that including your brain, you feel better. So all fruits and vegetables are allowed. We're not doing a low fruit glycemic situation. Healthy fats. I personally feel coconut oil and olive oil are your two best ones, with avocado. I would use these. There's mixed views out there in terms of grapeseed oil and sesame oil. Sesame oil is really good for, you can even use that in terms of like, even when in conjunction with like castor oil. Castor oil liver packs would be great to be introducing into your everyday. So seasonal beans. So when you clicked on this, I don't know if you did do that, you're going to see beans can be pretty hard on people with digestive issues. I could not tolerate them early on at all. So a huge sign that I have improved my gut health is I can eat beans without Beano, which was not the case early on. But where is that list? You will see here in this list that's provided, the only one on here is mung beans. And my Gut Thrive in 5 clients will tell you early on, you do not have chickpeas or lentils. It's very similar to this in terms of what is allowed. We introduce beans like midway through the program. So I would definitely take note of like how you respond to beans. Because again, like I said, in Gut Thrive in 5, they are eliminated for a certain time frame. So seasonal beans, always soak your beans because you want to remove phytic acid. Phytic acid reduces the absorption of things like iron, and just some really good minerals for the body, iron being one. So it's always good to soak your beans. I used to soak them overnight. Coffee substitutes, those things. You guys can read through all this, but it's just like I wanted to touch on some things. Teas are great, very good. As far as smooth move, don't take that every single day. That can be a very aggressive. It's a senna leaf. What I loved on Gut Thrive in 5 is a product called Triphala. It's called Colon RX now from Designs for Health, but Triphala is not addictive to the body. It's not going to alter your body's ability to naturally have bowel movements. Well, it's going to naturally keep your body producing them. Senna leaf can be so aggressive that eventually, if you take that for far too long, your body will rely on it. Triphala is very different in that it won't rely on it. And so be very careful. Senna is great when you're severely backed up. But however, I wouldn't recommend that on a regular basis. Foods to eliminate on the New Gut, New You. These are foods and drinks not recommended. So if you can do it with coffee, but that's the one thing I will tell people, some people are addicted. So if you can't give up your coffee, try to do it black, and only 8 ounces. And it's best if you hold off until 10 a.m. when your cortisol because cortisol first thing in the morning is spiked. And so about 10 a.m., the spike might be going down. This is why, and I keep talking about this, can't wait. But this is why I'm very interested in a product line that I am trying out too. It's called Happy Juice, and it's kind of a cliche name, but There is a product in there called Energy, which contains matcha. It could be something that helps me get off of at least high doses of, I don't have high doses. I enjoy my first cup in the morning and I enjoy it, but it will take me about 30 minutes to drink. So it's not like I'm gulping it down. But sometimes I wonder if I would do best without coffee myself. So I am excited to try this one product that's included in the Happy line, Happy Juice combo. It's 3 products combined. One is energy, one is focus, and one is mood. So those 3 things that we talk about, how does each meal, how did those things, that product line is helping the neurotransmitters to balance out all of those. You're not adding neurotransmitters, you're adding things that help you produce them naturally. So anyway, sugar, sweet, and other sweeteners. Again, I would encourage overall, if you want to optimize your results, I would leave those out. Fruits, berries, and green apples are going to give you the most optimal results in a 3-week time frame. So again, Gut Thrive at 5 is much more healing, much more systematic, methodical. And so in something like that, it's like berries and green apples. It depends on where you want to go. If you're starting with dipping your foot in the water, stick with any fruit, because actually Gut Thrive at 5, one of our group members, I think I told you this, she did not have a major spike with fruits like she did white flour. They went up a little higher with the higher glycemic, but they also came down very naturally. Artificial sweeteners, all, sugar, alcohols, these are everything that you want to avoid. Eggs, this may surprise you that it's usually the egg whites more than the yolk that people are allergic or sensitive to. But in general, eggs, soy, shellfish, yeast, nuts, because they can contain mold, especially peanuts and pistachios. They are harder to digest for a lot of people. So it's best to eliminate those while we're going through the next 2 weeks. Alcohol, dairy products, corn, gluten, grains. Seed-like seasonal grains would be quinoa. It's a seed. Wild rice is a seed, and black rice is a seed. But again, if you're looking for optimal results, you might want to exclude at least the rice, black rice, and wild rice. Processed foods, salt, soft drinks, nitrates, nightshades, which are your potatoes, tomatoes, eggplant. Those are all nightshades, which if you struggle with autoimmune issues, they absolutely could be affecting you. Peppers, bell peppers are part of the nightshades. Beans, except for seasonal beans mentioned in the approved food list, mung. Just again, we're trying to reduce digestive distress because many people that come into these programs are experiencing gas, bloat, constipation issues, acid reflux. So I wanted to go over that. And then you're going to pick out one detox. And make sure you're reading what to read in the guide on any particular day, because there is just some really, really good, really good information in each little section. So here's what you should focus on during this phase. So let's go here. That's the food reintroduction phase. So again, you'll be told to focus on, read up on this, mood and gut. Okay, so as I keep talking about, would you have ever thought your mood and gut have connection? Well, if you haven't, I'll be the first to share the news with you. Yes, your mood and gut have a huge connection. I bet you had intentions of changing your attitude through a gut detox, but surprise, you had no intention. I'm sorry. I have something coming for you. When it comes to holistic health, you'll realize everything has a connection, including your mood and gut. When one thing seems to be out of balance, you'll start to find that everything else is also. We are complicated beings, but this also makes things so much simpler. The world has so much simpler than the world has been telling us for way too long. Imagine working on your gut will now help you be in a better mood. Fewer fights with your partner, kids, boss, and road rage next to you. Are you ready to take this adventure with me? So keep that in mind, a sense of calm and a sense of peace. My sister, who went through this program, she just said she wasn't as short fused like she had previously been. That's been my main thing, is I've always felt much calmer. So make sure when you're asked to read a certain section to read it, but I know I want to come here. I mean, sleep and gut, it's all the serotonin connection. I've talked about that in terms of this product line. Your gut makes 90% of the serotonin. If your gut is imbalanced and you basically have gut dysbiosis, which is leaky gut, you're probably not producing enough serotonin, right? So that's why we need to balance your gut microbiome in order to help you produce more serotonin, which is then going to allow you to produce your natural cycle of melatonin and allow you to sleep. Hormones and gut. That's a huge one, especially many of you, many of those who are at least reaching out to me, a client, or in talks with me, we're all in that phase of like perimenopause/menopause. We're experiencing bodily changes. But what we are told, it's your hormones, it's estrogen. Sometimes it's just stress and the connection between your cortisol. Many of you have already heard me talk about this. But not only does gut health affect hormones through stress, but it can also affect the HPA axis, hypothalamic pituitary axis, since bacteria can change your nervous system. Some hormones and hormone-producing organs that can be affected include insulin, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, the thyroid gland, and the uterus. Some ways that the gut can affect hormones include healthy GI tract helps with blood sugar management. Estrogen dominance can happen if bacteria reactivate inactive estrogen. So keep that in mind. High estrogen is a sign of gut imbalance because it can the unhealthy gut bacteria can reactivate inactive estrogen, adding more and more and more. Common signs of high estrogen: weight gain, facial hair, heavier menstrual flows. I'm trying to think of high cortisol and high estrogen, obviously, are very connected. Stomach produces estrogen-like molecules when BPA from plastics is consumed. So another reason why you want to go as clean as possible with cookware and what you eat with and store stuff in. Toxins cross gut barrier and can decrease progesterone production. Progesterone is your happy hormone. If you are in the ages of fertile life, it can absolutely cut out. Stress can cut out the last third of your cycle, making becoming pregnant very difficult, if not impossible. Toxins may play a role in PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, by increasing insulin and testosterone levels. High insulin, that's why people with PCOS tend to have weight gain, blood sugar dysregulation. They become insulin resistant. Facial hair, very similar to estrogen dominance. And so I wanted to touch on that, but this week, there's just some really good stuff. Like I said, take really good time to read some of those, and I'll go over some of this in next week's. But where do I want to go? You guys know I love my essential oils. Oregano, huge part of Gut Thriving 5. Ginger, lavender for calming the nervous system. Peppermint calms, cools the digestive tract. Okay, so this is what your plan is, to pick out one of these to try this week. A detox tool for gut health. Try an Epsom salt bath. The magnesium in an Epsom salt bath will help relax your muscles. So using Epsom salt is great, especially since it's super cheap and really simple. Love these after Bikram yoga classes back in the day. Taking a bath in Epsom salt will help stabilize your mood and relieve stress and even anxiety and depression. Magnesium, what Epsom salt is known to increase serotonin, the relaxation hormone, the happy hormone, and relax the muscles and nervous system, which will help you easily shut your eyes. But also understand, you guys, when your nervous system is calmer, your peristaltic waves in your digestive tract are going to be more optimal. When you're under chronic stress, your body's basically telling your digestive system, shut down, turn off. So less blood flow to the stomach, less peristaltic waves, therefore slower movement of food through your tract. So Epsom salt baths are going to help calm, create peace, peaceful state of mind. But don't forget that little bit of magnesium is known to increase your serotonin, which then helps your melatonin. Contrast showering can be very, but you'll see a lot of people talking about cold plunges, kind of similar. Taking a shower where you switch between hot and cold water improves the lymphatic system. So the lymphatic system is a piece of the detoxification world in our body that keeps moving metabolic waste and toxins through the body so they can be removed. And a contrast shower can be very good for that. So it can help detox and flush more toxins. Studies have shown that cold showers boost immunity, improve blood circulation, regulate body temperature, enhance lymphatic movements, and deepen breathing. A cold shower also has an effect on your mood by alleviating depression and increasing energy and well-being. So you might want to try this, because the vibrational plate that you guys may see me on, if you're following me on Instagram, it's to get lymphatic drainage moving. But the lymphatic system, this amazing gift, and releases give your lymphatic system this amazing and release gift that's going to help you release toxins that can lead to weight gain, hormonal imbalances, headaches, skin rashes, digestive woes, aging, and weak immune. I learned this week that a common symptom is if somebody does the lymphatic vibrational plate and they feel itchy in certain spots on their skin, it's a sign that they had some backup and it's trying to move its way through. The hot water brings flow to the skin surface, while the cold water brings flow inward to the organs. So you're doing a good job for your organs. Oil pulling, I've been doing that every morning. So pick one of these. I've noticed a tremendous effect. It makes my teeth feel cleaner, but it gets that bacteria. I do it while I'm in the shower. I've even been doing it possibly when I'm driving to my job. My job's so close. And then when I get there, I spit it in the trash can. Skin brushing, we've already introduced that. An enema, that's up to you. But try to pick one of those this week. The place where I work, they do colonics. And I've only done it once, but it is really good. And enema is pretty much the same thing. Coffee enemas are a part of Gut Thrive and 5. My clients are not made to do it, so to speak. It's there, it's up to them. They have had very good results without doing it. I don't think I've had one client do it yet, including myself. It is on my list because it is so good for attaching toxins and removing them. It's just one of those things that I personally have to warm up to as well, but it can be a very beneficial thing for your body. All right, guys, I've taken enough of your time. I watch this throughout the week in segments if you need to. But again, don't hesitate to reach out with any questions or concerns. I want to be of all the help that I can be for you throughout this journey so that you get the most out of this program and understanding why. All right, guys, have a wonderful evening, and until next time. All right, I have to see how to stop the recording.